Recall that in our last video, we completed the crop acreage and crop insurance input form. And the last step of that was pulling down our benchmark budgets. To see those benchmark budgets, we will now, and edit those budgets, we can now enter into the next input form, which is called yield and expense budgets. Here we see all the detailed line item expenses that have come in from those imported benchmarks. These, by accessing the edit button here, every one of these line items is available to be edited, and we would highly encourage farmers to adapt these budgets to their own underlying farm operations and modify the cost per acre numbers that appear here, as well as the yields, to be more reflective of their own operations. In the meantime, we're going to accept these as representative for our Madison County budget. In general, there's a lot of information that can be gleaned from the model without specifying every single line item for the farmer. However, to make the information that, and the outputs more precise, it certainly is in the interest of the user to look through each of these line items and adapt them to their own individual operations. One thing to note here is we have an item called yield variability. This is our estimate of the percentage of non-land costs that vary with yield. If a farm has a shortfall to budgeted yield, then certain of its costs will be lower. Costs like grain drying, hauling, replacement-based P&K fertilizers, those will all be lower if the farm underperforms. So this yield variability factor that we've brought in here is a derivation from these underlying benchmark budgets. And we think it's a pretty reasonable assumption. However, it too can be, as with all the other inputs, can be modified by the farmer. So we will accept these as if they are representative of our Madison County farm, and without making any changes for the time being. And we'll go back to the dashboard and continue with our next tutorial.